impression is failing and how to fix it. Most people ruin their best career opportunities in the first 30 seconds without even realizing they've opened their mouths. You meet someone important, they ask what you do, and you start stumbling over your words, giving a 5-minute history of your life that nobody asked for. If you've ever walked away from a conversation wishing you could hit a reset button because you sounded like a rambling mess, this is for you. Today, we are going to fix that once and for all. We are looking at the art and science of the elevator speech. This isn't just a fancy business term. It is a survival skill for the modern world. By the time we finish, you will know exactly how to describe your value in a way that makes people stop what they are doing and listen to you. We are going to cover what an elevator speech actually is, why it is the most important tool in your professional toolkit, and a 5-step formula to build one from scratch. We will also talk about how to tailor it for different people and how to practice so you never sound like a robot. Stick around because by the end, you'll have a clear plan to turn every hello into a real opportunity. The secret weapon of successful people. Before we get into the how-to, let's talk about what we're actually building. The term elevator speech comes from a very simple idea. Imagine you step into an elevator on the ground floor. Just as the doors are closing, the CEO of your dream company or a huge potential investor steps in right next to you. You have exactly the amount of time it takes to get to the 20th floor to explain who you are and why they should care. That is usually about 30 to 60 seconds. But let's be real. In today's world, we aren't just talking about elevators. We are talking about the first 30 seconds of a Zoom call or the moment you stand up at a local meetup to introduce yourself. We are talking about that quick "so what do you do?" question at a backyard barbecue. The goal isn't to tell your entire life story. The goal is to make a strong first impression and open a door. You want the other person to say, "That sounds interesting, tell me more." If they ask a follow-up question, you've won. If their eyes glaze over and they start looking for the nearest exit, you've lost. The problem most of us face is that we are too close to our own work. We know every tiny detail of what we do, so when someone asks us about it, we try to share everything at once. We talk about our degrees, our past jobs, our daily tasks, and our 5-year plan. It's too much information. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. The human brain isn't built to process that much data in 30 seconds. This is why having a pre-written, pre-practiced elevator speech is so vital. It forces you to be disciplined. It forces you to cut the fluff and focus only on the gold. Why your current introduction isn't working. Think about the last time someone asked you what you do. Did you say something like, "Oh, I'm a project manager in the logistics sector focusing on end-to-end supply chain optimization"? If you did, I can almost guarantee the other person's brain shut off halfway through. Words like optimization and end-to-end are what we call corporate noise. They don't mean anything to people outside your specific office. The real challenge today is that attention spans are shorter than ever. Research shows we have about 8 seconds before someone decides if we are worth listening to. If you spend those 8 seconds using big words to sound smart, you've already lost the room. You need to be clear, not clever. You need to be helpful, not impressive. People don't care about your title. They care about the problems you solve. If you can't tell them what problem you solve in one sentence, you don't have an elevator speech yet. You have a word salad. Step 1, it is not about you. The biggest mistake people make is thinking the elevator speech is about them. It's not. It's about the person listening to you. This is step 1, know your audience. If you are talking to a potential employer, they care about how you can save them money or make them more efficient. If you are talking to a potential client, they care about how you can fix their specific pain point. If you are talking to a stranger at a party, they just want to know if you're an interesting person. Before you write a single word, you have to ask yourself, who am I talking to? You shouldn't have just one elevator speech. You should have 3 or 4 versions of the same core message. Think of it like a key. You wouldn't try to open your front door with your car key, right? The key has to match the lock. If you're a marketing expert and you're talking to a tech person, focus on the data. If you're talking to a creative person, focus on the storytelling and the brand. You have to put the listener at the center of the story. What do they need? What are they worried about? When you start your speech by addressing their world, they have no choice but to pay attention. Step 2, finding your one big thing. Once you know who you are talking to, you need to find your core message. This is step 2. If the person you're talking to remembers only one thing about you tomorrow morning, what should it be? You can't be the person who is good at coding, loves dogs, manages teams, and is also a great cook. Pick the one thing that defines the value you bring to the table right now. Think of this as your central thesis. Are you the person who turns failing startups around? Are you the person who makes complex legal jargon easy for families to understand? Are you the person who designs sustainable packaging that saves companies millions? This is your North Star. Every other word in your speech must support this one main point. If a sentence doesn't help explain your core value, delete it. This is hard because we want to feel important and multifaceted. But in a 30-second window, being multifaceted just looks like being confused. Be a specialist in those 30 seconds, even if you're a generalist in real life. Step 3, the 10-year-old test. Now that you have your message, you need to write it down. But here is the catch. Keep it concise and clear. This is step 3. A good elevator speech is usually between 75 and 150 words. If you talk at a normal conversational pace, 150 words will take about a minute. If you can get it down to 100 words, you're in the sweet spot. But length isn't the only thing that matters. You have to watch your language. Avoid jargon like the plague. If a 10-year-old wouldn't understand what you just said, rewrite it. Instead of saying, I facilitate synergetic partnerships in the fintech space, say, I help small banks work with new technology companies so they can offer better apps to their customers. See the difference? One sounds like a robot reading a manual, the other sounds like a human being explaining a job. Simple language isn't dumbing it down. Simple language is a sign of mastery. If you can't explain what you do simply, it means you don't understand it well enough yet. Use short sentences. Use active verbs. I build, I create, I solve, I lead. These words have energy. They move the conversation forward. Step 4, the hook that grabs them. You have your audience, your message, and your simple language. Now you need a hook. This is step 4, and it's where the magic happens. A hook is a way to grab attention from the very first second. Don't start with, my name is John and I work at, that's boring. Start with something that creates a gap in their mind that they want to fill. You can use a surprising statistic. Did you know that 60% of small businesses close within 6 months of a cyber attack? I'm the person who makes sure that never happens to my clients. You can use a provocative question. Have you ever wondered why it's so hard to find a contractor who actually shows up on time? I started my company specifically to solve that problem. Or you can use a relatable pain point. You know how most people hate filing their taxes because the forms are impossible to read? I designed a software that does it for you in 10 minutes. The goal of the hook is to make them lean in. It sets the stage for the rest of your speech. It tells the listener, I understand your world and I have something you need. Once you have their attention with the hook, the rest of the speech flows naturally. You've already given them a reason to care, so now they are actually listening to your core message. Step 5, the uncanny valley of practice. The final step is the one everyone wants to skip, practice. You can have the best script in the world, but if you deliver it while looking at your shoes or sounding like you're reading from a teleprompter, it won't work. Step 5 is about making the speech feel like a natural part of who you are. When you first start practicing, you're going to sound stiff. This is what we call the uncanny valley. You know the words, but you don't have the rhythm. Keep going, practice in front of a mirror so you can see your facial expressions. Are you smiling? Do you look confident? Record yourself on your phone and listen back. It's going to be cringy at first. Nobody likes the sound of their own voice, but it is the fastest way to improve. You'll hear where you're talking too fast or where you're saying and Practice until the speech becomes muscle memory. You want to reach a point where you can say it while you're making coffee. Once it's that deep in your brain, you won't be nervous when you actually have to use it. You'll be able to adjust it on the fly because you aren't worried about remembering the next word. You'll be able to make eye contact and engage with the person in front of you. That's the difference between a pitch and a conversation. Putting it all together. Let's look at how this all fits into one cohesive story. Imagine you're at a conference. You meet someone. You drop your hook. I noticed that most marketing teams spend half their day on spreadsheets instead of actually being creative. Then you deliver your core message. I built a tool that automates all that data entry. so teams can get back to the work they actually love. Then you add a bit of proof. Last year, we helped a mid-sized firm save 20 hours a week per person. Finally, you end with a call to action or a question. I'd love to hear how your team handles their data. See how that works? It's fast, it's clear, and it invites the other person to talk. It's not a monologue, it's a bridge. You've used the 5 steps to build something that isn't just a speech, but a professional tool that works for you, even when you're nervous. You've taken the complex reality of your career and boiled it down into a clear, potent message. The next step in your journey. Mastering your elevator speech is a game changer. But it's just one piece of the professional puzzle. If you want to keep building the skills that actually move the needle in your career or your business, you need to stay curious. If you found this helpful, make sure you hit the subscribe button for the Mychangemanagement channel right now. We post regular content designed to help professionals navigate the business world with confidence. Don't miss out on the next deep dive. Subscribe today and join a community of people who are taking control of their career advancement.